a smaller Iowa team double up on the big men of that starting five?
Listen, all I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to end this real quick so we can go on. Yale will need God, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, Mary and Adam themselves.
All the animals on the ark.
To beat Purdue.
Yeah, TikTok, I'm just rolling on the block. Risa took me, heard that. Podcast show about to start. Heard that. You should know if entertainment is your goal. You talking sports or travel, yo. This the hottest pod show. Heard that. She got her shoes, everything she says is truth. If you don't know, now you know. All you ever gotta say is heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that, heard that. Look, all you ever gotta.
What up, everybody? If you're a fan of basketball, what's up, Bryson? If you're a fan of basketball tonight, we're going to be talking about the 68 tournament with my good friend Monty Moss. He's getting everything ready. So if you got brackets, follow along with us. Chat. Hi, Alex. How y'all doing? Follow along with us. This is another episode of Heard That podcast at night. Monty and I did this a year ago, and I didn't realize how many fans Monty actually had doing this. So we are here, 2022 style of the 68 tournament with New Jersey's finest sportscaster and 1/4 of an amazing, the hottest show here on IG Live, the Gentleman's Corner Live. Monty Moss is joining me right now. And as I said, this right here is where we're going to talk about it. Monty and I posted up our brackets already. If you follow each one of us, we post up our brackets. I told Monty, I said, don't be shocked and don't be dismayed. I have a lot of upsets happening because in my humblest opinion, there is a lot. This bracket, this is the first time where I see the tournament wide open. I don't know about you, Monty. I mean, what's your thoughts on it before we break down each region?
Well, first off, it's good to be back for year 2 of the Monty and Marissa bracket challenge duo.
I see somebody shouting Tar Heels. Okay.
I'm with you. I think I'm with you all the way. This tournament doesn't really have a clear-cut favorite as have we seen in years past, but I feel like within each region there could be at least a few upsets as well as some teams that we may not have thought to get to where they are. But I'm excited to break down both our brackets as well as get into this dissecting of the bracket. So let's get ready to have some fun.
Okay, and if you have a bracket at home, follow along with us. You know, talk in the chat, talk it up. We appreciate it. This will be recorded. It'll be going into all the social media platforms. So, and who knows, I mean, if you have a valid point, Monty and myself, we may pull you up just to discuss on why you believe a particular team, if you're playing in the 68 tournament, is going to go all the way. And like I said already at the top, this year has been just a flip-flop of inconsistencies of not being in the top 10. I mean, we first saw the Zags. They looked like they was going to turn tables on everybody. And then they just flipped to Baylor. Then they flipped to Zona. Then Michigan State was up there. Then our guys was there sitting at number 4. Number 4 was basically the most unluckiest spot to be in the top 25 because Michigan was there. They met Seton Hall. They lost. They lost to another unranked team. And then they haven't been ranked since. And it's been a struggle bus for that team in particular. So let's start at the South region right now. You have Arizona being the number 1 seed. I'm looking at this, and here's my upsets, and I want to see if you got any in the South. I have number 10, Loyola Chicago, the Sister Jeans. I got them upset in Ohio State. I think Drew Valentine, him being out of all the teams here, he is the youngest coach in the tournament at 30 years old.
Yeah.
Played in the Big Ten along with his brother, Denzel, for Michigan State. He took over a pretty good team from Coach Mosser, who I believe is now coaching Texas. And this is a team where they've gone now back to back into the tournament. But this is a team where I've seen the couple of games that I've watched them where if you leave these shooters open, they're really good, especially at the arc on the three. And they play with not trying to take from any other team, but the last team for them when they played to get into the 68 tournament, they play with a lot of heart. So whatever Coach Ballantyne is telling them, they're buying what he's selling, because that's a transition from Coach Mosser that took this program into the tournament the first time. And everybody was, saying that they're probably a one-trick pony, but Coach Mosser was one of those coaches where he was sought after for what he did with this program. And I believe he handed it off to, a very good coach in Drew Valentine. I have them upsetting Ohio State in the first round. And then I have Chattanooga. Chattanooga is another team not to sleep on. I think this is going to be a back-to-back year with Illinois, even though Kofi Coburn did come back for another year. Something about Chattanooga to me is going to stun a lot of people. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're going way too left with Chattanooga.
Oh, no.
There is not a single player on Chattanooga that is going to limit nor stop the best big man in the Big Ten, arguably. And with Illinois' guard play, we'll start with Trent Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Chattanooga has a shot at all. Now, if there's going to be an upset, I don't think it's going to come there. You make a solid point with Loyola Chicago. I don't think it'll be an upset.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Ohio State does win. Of course, I want them to lose, but I just think with the way with E.J. Liddell's been playing this year, obviously averaging 19-8 all year long, being that vocal leader, and of course being that leader that Ohio State's needed all season with the injuries that they had, with the lack of guard play, and then Michi Johnson's in and out of the lineup. So I just think that Ohio State might just have the slighter edge. I mean, again, we don't know which team will show up. It's the same thing for a lot of teams. You don't know what team's going to show up. But
right.
I just don't think that Chattanooga has no chance in hell of beating a very, very solid 4-seed Illinois, which people were already questioning that why are they in a 4-seed. But I think the committee got it right. I think they deserve to be a 4-seed. Again, the Big Ten has been its best in a long time. And I think, you can make the argument this is the best Big Ten conference than all the other conferences combined. But I just think Illinois just had a little bit more. And they have the coaching. Of course, it's hard to come into Loyola Chicago and implement your own system and have things flow your way with recruiting. He hasn't had the opportunity to do that in his first year because obviously the players have rolled over. But I do look forward to seeing this game, and I do think that Illinois is going to pull it off.
I think, too, another thing that I want to say, and I know Michigan fans were upset at me, and I'm a loyal Michigan fan. You know that from as long as we've known each other. Don't sleep on the Rams of Colorado State. I mean, that's going to be a close game. They have Michigan being a favorite at 3.5. I think Michigan does pull it out to go and meet Tennessee in the next round. But this is going to be a game. Which Michigan team is going to show up? Is going to be the team that we saw at the end of the season before the Big Ten conference play started, where they pretty much dominated Michigan State? Or is it going to be the ones where we saw them just absolutely show up with no defense whatsoever in the second half against a Seton Hall team that came out lights out, and they were unranked at the time? That's one of the games that sit in my mind is just how dominant it was. Are they going to be that team where they were up 17 points in the second round of the Big Ten tournament, and Indiana must have said something and did something in the halftime because they went on a ferocious run and then ended up winning by 4 or 5 points? Which Michigan team are we going to see that's going to actually make a statement in this tournament?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good point. I think, us as being diehard loyal Michigan fans, I think we're blessed to have the seed that we do have. Of course, we've had the third hardest schedule in the country.
Right.
Of course, we're a mixed team. We have some vets there, along with some young incoming, freshmen that haven't been ready for that type of environment. And it showed throughout the season. I mean, of course, when we talk about Michigan, of course, we know it starts with Hunter Dickerson and Eli Brooks. But, just the growth of what this young team has good with Caleb Houston improving his shot behind the three-point arc, and then, having Frankie Collins come off the bench and show some growth towards the second half of the season, especially against Michigan State, and then showing up against Ohio State on the road in the last game of the year. So I've been impressed with this Michigan team, but of course, these are the type of things that come with the territory when you do walk into that locker room and put on that maize and blue. So, of course, we're blessed with the seeding. I do think Michigan will advance to the second round and meet Tennessee. After that, I think the bags are packed and going home because I think Tennessee will advance and meet Villanova in the Sweet 16. But as a Michigan fan, you couldn't ask for anything better as far as the seeding is concerned because, as you know, Marissa, it could have been a lot worse.
Oh, absolutely. And I already had, and it's amazing, again, people that follow me and follow my show on Facebook and on Twitter and so forth. I had a lot of upset Oklahoma Sooner fans that should have believed that they should have been in the tournament itself. They just played. I believe they are getting ready to play or have played already in the first round of the NIT tournament. And it's going to be soon official here. Texas Southern is going to take this one 76-67. So Texas Southern is going to meet Kansas, number 1 Kansas, in the Midwest. That is official. But other than that, I just see the consistent. I have Arizona pretty much going far. I have them pretty much winning the whole entire thing. I mean, I've had Arizona. I have picked them in the past. They have let me down right before either the Elite Eight or the Final Four. I think the only time that I actually got it right when I played is when way back in the day, I did pick Arizona to win the whole entire thing, and that was when a fabulous, fantastic player by Miles Simon was on the team that led Arizona to their title. So who knows what's going to happen there, but I have Arizona out of the South being part of the championship and winning the whole entire thing, cutting down the nets. Midwest. I hate saying this, and if you're in the chat, I apologize. If you're a Providence fan, I mean, Ron Cooley has done phenomenal taking this team and turning it around. And this is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Monty, this is the highest seed that Providence has ever had in his tenure there.
Yeah, it is.
Providence is going to be one of them early seeds that I see going home. I have South Dakota State. That's one of those teams that you can't fall asleep on. I think that they knock out Providence in the first round. That's the only one that I have. And then basically out of spite, because of everything that happened, and people are calling it Slapgate with our coach. I'm sorry if you're a Wisconsin fan in the chat. I just have, and for legitimate reasons too, Colgate is a pretty doggone good team. I just have them beating Wisconsin. And that's just because out of spite. I'm sorry, I said it.
Well, here's one of the significance, and me and you were on the same page. I do have Arizona getting to the Final Four to be one of the teams that will represent the Final Four out of the other 3. But the significance of what Tommy Lloyd, obviously former Gonzaga assistant, taking over this program after the mess that Sean Miller left him, and having those guys come in there like Dalen Terry, a recruit that Miller recruited, and some of those guys. But I just think the way he's revamped this program in this year, the way the system he runs, it's a beauty to watch. They've been a little bit inconsistent at times with the defense, and of course having some offensive troubles. But I don't think that Arizona have any problems getting to the Elite Eight as well as the Final Four. I mean, of course, they battle in a nice conference with UCLA and USC and Stanford and other schools. But look, they've been top 15 in the country all year. They haven't had really any issues. A few minor tweaks here and there, but what Tommy Lloyd has done as far as his defense efficiency on the defensive end and basically having them in a position to win a championship, which they haven't been in this position in years past, I think this is Arizona's best shot yet to get to the Final Four. If not,
I agree.
And I don't disagree with Arizona winning. I would like to see Arizona winning because my own personal opinion on Gonzaga, I can go on for hours, but they're really balanced. They're mixed on both sides of the ball. They can score. They have length. Of course, they have the ability to get to the basket and create for others. So I'm excited to see what Arizona's going to do. I know for a fact that they will get past. I do have Seton Hall beating TCU, and I think TCU will go home, and Seton Hall will play Arizona. Arizona will advance. But to your other point regarding Providence, of course, Coach Cooley, what can I say? I mean, his team's has been phenomenal all year long. They've been the best team in the Big East by far when you see them play. Of course, they had their moments against Villanova early in the year, both times at Villanova and, of course, at home. But for what he's done with this program, of course, to win the Big East regular season championship and cut the Nets down at home, I think this is a big momentum. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
they did lose in the Big East tournament, unfortunately, to a good Creighton team that's been phenomenal all year long.
I agree.
But again, this Providence team is dangerous. I do agree with them being a 4 seed. I don't have any problem with them being a 4 seed. And just what they've done with Nate Watson, of course, averaging over 14 points a game. He's their soul on the offensive end. He's the rock. He controls the
Mm-hmm.
offense. So I do like Providence. I do think they can go on a run. I do think they can possibly get to the Elite Eight. It depends. But in order to get to the Elite Eight, in my bracket, they got to get past Kansas in the Sweet 16. That ain't happening. So Providence has had a great year, but I just think it ends at the Sweet 16 when they'll face Kansas. And
you got to think too. I was coming off of that high of the Big Ten championship. They got shooters, shooters at all perimeters. I mean, if you leave any of those shooters open on Iowa, they're going to go for it again. 9 times out of 10, they're going to hit that three. We've seen Jordan Bohannon just light it up and then come up with a big clutch three when they eliminated Indiana to get to meet Purdue. Yeah. And we'll get to Purdue in a moment, and we get to the other bracket, the East bracket. But I don't know if Providence does go and beat South Dakota State, and and Iowa takes care of Richmond, they're going to have a tough time getting past Iowa. Again, that depth that all of them, even off of the bench. You leave any of them open, they are not afraid to go and shoot the three. And they'll go for it. And they have excellent free throw shooters if you follow them. There is no crappy free throw shooter whatsoever. Or
I agree. I think Iowa right now is playing at the right time as far as going into the tournament. Because part of the keys that you want to have as a team when going into the tournament is either you want to win the conference tournament, get ready to go into March Madness, or you want to at least get to the final or the semifinal. Yes. Because when you have that momentum going into the tournament, that gives you a confidence boost as a team. It boosts your confidence as a coach, and your guys are ready to play. Now, we don't – of course, Iowa is going to have time off between now and when they'll play their first-round game. So, obviously, they'll be refreshed, they'll be rejuvenated. But once the tournament starts, you're Big Ten champs, but you got to leave that behind because you don't want that to play into your head. You don't want to get that illusion going during games because you can't sleep, in my opinion, on a Richmond team that, of course, has no one had them winning the conference to even begin with.
No one.
But this is the way they've been playing all year. I mean, I want to give a shout out to senior guard Jacob Gilliard. He's been on my show a few years ago, and Jacob is one of, if not the best on-ball guard defender in a long time. Similarities of Trey Jones from Duke a few years ago, can guard you 94 feet from top to bottom. He can score the ball, and he leads. He's third right now in the NCAA in steals, so he knows where to get the ball when it gets hands in the cookie jar. So I wouldn't be shocked, but if I'm Iowa, I would be ready to play because if you're not, you may be going home first round against a very good Richmond.
Right. And it's already been a buzz of all the conferences that are in here. There's not a lot of love for the Big Ten. With so many of the changes from the rankings in the Big Ten and records and so forth, and a lot of upsets within that conference alone. A lot of media were not giving a lot of love to the Big Ten, and basically has said possibly that you won't see any Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16. What do you think about that?
That's a solid point. I mean,
I think it goes back to Illinois, though, because you gave a really good point about Illinois possibly going further than people think.
Yeah. Again, realistically, Illinois will beat Chattanooga. That's not even up for negotiation. Then there'll be a very good Houston team, which I think they have a shot at beating Houston realistically because, again, who's going to stop Kofi? And if you double, Illinois has shooters that they can kick out to and knock down a big shot.
Right.
So realistically, in my bracket, and I think which could play out, is you'll have Illinois in the Sweet 16 against Arizona, and then if Wisconsin can handle business, which I think they can, they'll meet Auburn in the Sweet 16 also. So that'll be 2 Big Ten teams in the Sweet 16 play. Obviously, from there, Illinois has had to bring their A game against Arizona, and Auburn, you're going to have to hope for a bad day at the office in order to beat Auburn. So, realistically, for people out there that think that Big Ten teams won't get to the Sweet 16, they will. Now, will Big Ten teams get to Elite Eight? I don't see that happening, but that's just me. What do you think?
Right. That's so true. And, I mean, looking at this match, and one more thing that jumps out to me in the Midwest, again, as you said, like I out of spite, and I might change it just because I know how good Wisconsin is in the depth, and I'm just being petty because I can't stand them right now. But Colgate has their shooters, and they have a couple of guys that are on the bench that are rock solid that can come off of the bench and they can shoot. And I have mad respect for them whatsoever. I don't think people need to sleep on LSU. LSU's gone through a lot, especially with their now coach that's now gone, going through, over that year of scandal that people have seen. Will this team come out and play with the intensity of like, okay, we're trying to put this behind us. We're trying to come out here and, and show that we can play. I mean, they have Iowa State in the first round. I think that's going to be a closer one than more people think. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But if they do get by Iowa State, which has really good front three, they're going to play either let's be real, like you said, they're going to play a very tough Wisconsin team. So they could be short-lived as well. But don't sleep on Iowa State. I don't know if LSU, like I said, could they come out with all the emotion of trying to prove that they belong here, and what has happened with their now past coach, and they have an interim coach that is trying to rally around him, trying to rally the team around together and just come out there and play a rock solid game. I think they can possibly make it happen.
I think LSU as a program, and with those 12 guys in the locker room, they're at a very crucial point right now. I mean, of course, Will Wade had this coming. It was bound to happen.
It was bound to happen.
I didn't think it would happen this soon. I thought maybe sometime next year. But when you lose your coach literally before the biggest part of the season of your season as a player, it's kind of hard to rebound. I mean, of course, the interim coach coming in, he's already on the staff. He already has the respect for the players. But now you have to prepare your men that just lost their head coach that was in the war with them all year. Now prepare them for a first-round NCAA tournament game with all the recent noise that they're getting from the media. I just think those players just have to lock in. Don't get me wrong, LSU as a 6th seed is deserving. SEC has been a tough conference all year, and LSU can play. In my opinion, I think LSU has one of the most complete, underrated players, I should say, in the country. Of course, Tariq Watson has been phenomenal coming in, averaging over 16 points, 7 assists a game. He knows his stuff. And I just think the amount of composure that LSU has had in big moments this year, with being calm, not folding under pressure, and delivering when matters most, that can play a part in this tournament. But again, when you lose your head coach literally before a big tournament, how do you respond? So I do expect the players to come out against Iowa State ready to play, fired up. But in those situations when they're facing adversity against Iowa State, when they're down, they need to come back and go on a run, how are they going to respond? How is that interim coach going to have his guys ready when those times come? Because if you think you're going to come out against the Iowa State team and be ready to play and win, you got nothing coming. So I do look forward to see how the players are going to respond with the recent news and how the media is just tearing apart LSU. But it's up to those guys in the locker room, and he just has to have a solid game plan from a coaching standpoint to have his guys locked in, ready to go out there and compete and go out there and win, because you didn't come this far. You come this far to go home in the first round. So,
and it's a big thing is they got to shut down the noise, because the Will Wade era is over. They got to shut out all the noise, and they got to go in and play the basketball that I've seen LSU play. They've had really good key wins in here. So if they can shut out the noise and play the games that I've seen them play and be focused on it and make sure they hit their shots and not get into foul trouble early, LSU can really make a pretty good, decent run. I mean, they're going to run into some really tough teams if they do. I mean, they may fall short before the Sweet 16. Who knows? But who do you have coming out of the Midwest going to the Final Four?
My Midwest bracket, of course, Kansas is going to take care of business. This Creighton and San Diego State game is kind of iffy. I do like Creighton to win, just off what they showed me in the Big East tournament. Of course, overcoming and beating a very good Providence team. I think that's a confidence booster. And Coach McDermott's been here multiple times. He knows what he needs done to get his guys ready to play at a high level in the tournament. And he's had some tournament success in his tenure at Creighton. So Creighton gets past. I have Iowa over Richmond. I have Providence winning. I do have Iowa State beating LSU, just of what has transpired in the last 72 hours with LSU. USC gets past Miami. Miami hasn't really shown me much this year. They have big wins at Duke. I give them that. Charlie Moore, the grad transfer, has been phenomenal after playing in the Big East for what's the team in the Big East? Jesus. They just lost like second round of the tournament. I'm drawing blank. It'll come to me for the shows, I guarantee it. But far as getting to my Midwest, I have Kansas in the Elite Eight. I have Auburn in the Elite Eight. I have Kansas and Auburn meeting in the Elite Eight. I just think that the way Auburn's playing, Wisconsin just won't have an answer. I think Wisconsin guards can't compete with Auburn guards. And just, of course, with the way Smith's been playing with Auburn, he's just been phenomenal big. And shout out to Kessler. I mean, of course, him transferring from North Carolina, no one thought that he would play at this level, this quick, and fast in the Bruce Pearl system. But he's been one of their best go-to players all year. So I just think Wisconsin will have an answer. Kansas, Auburn, and meet. Arizona and Tennessee will meet. I know I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. Villanova, I love you. Jay Wright, I love you. You got I just don't think Villanova will have enough firepower. And it's no disrespect to all the Congo SBs, no disrespect to those guys, but Tennessee just has it. I mean, Jay Wright has an upperclassman squad. Jay always comes to play in the tournament. That's no doubt about it. But Arizona and Tennessee are meeting Elite Eight. Kansas and Auburn meet my Elite Eight. I think Arizona will get past Tennessee. They'll knock them off. And then down there in my Midwest, I think Kansas take care of Auburn. Obviously, Kansas will meet Kentucky, in my opinion, for two brackets on the side, East and Midwest. So the Midwest is it was really tough. No credit to USC, but they won't have enough to get past Auburn. Iowa State will just basically be ready to lose against Wisconsin. And then you have Auburn and Wisconsin. So obviously Auburn's going to handle business there. And then Kansas and Auburn, which will be arguably you can make
that's going to be a great
Wins
matchup.
that game will get to the Final Four with a chance to win. So
that's going to be a great matchup.
It'll be a great matchup. Again, both two well-balanced teams with good bench and good coaching. Auburn's been the best all year. We've seen this Bruce Pearl team before get to a Final Four, so we know he's capable. But Bill Self's been here too many times to not get to the big game. So the winner of that game could arguably be in the Final Four as well, win it all, in my opinion.
I agree.
Midwest.
I have again that big intriguing matchup that's going to happen in the Elite Eight, which Kansas and Auburn. I have Iowa and Kansas in a close one. Again, realistically, like you said, and the more I keep thinking about it, how good Wisconsin is, I'm just being a petty Betty, and I know that Wisconsin should be playing Auburn, which will be in the Sweet 16 for sure, with Auburn winning, and how far that Bruce Pearl can carry this program into. I have Auburn coming out of the Midwest in the Final Four. I think they get past Kansas. I think it's going to be a very close one, if not go into overtime.
Auburn over Kansas. Okay, I'm noting that. Why is that? What gives Auburn that slight edge?
Small slight edge, and I'm probably going to regret it because, again, I'm taking a risk on there because the other pool that I'm in, I have Kansas in the final game. I have them in the Final Four beating Zona, and I have Kansas and the Zags meeting each other with the Zags winning. I know it is eggs in basket.
Okay. So
the thing is, it's just like I'm taking the chance on Auburn because they let me down that one year when that foul that wasn't called, that shouldn't have been called, was called. I believe that was when they played Virginia. And that busted my very last bracket because I had Auburn going that year. And I felt so bad for those guys. It was just, I was about to win it all, and I saw the trophy in my grasp, and then, but I have, and in this one I have Auburn, but Auburn's gonna meet Zona, and again I have Arizona beating them.
So are we going over to the West and East, or are we leaving that alone? Because I think that's the side that's more tricky.
Yes.
Get to
This is a tricky side. This is
Very
a tricky side.
tricky.
This took me a while. I did the South and the Midwest bracket quicker than I did the West and the East.
Same
And
here.
if anybody in the chat had the exact same reaction, I mean, throw a basketball emoji up or something, because I'm looking at these teams, and this is where I had several upsets that I think you're going to be like, are you kidding me? But I'm not. So I'm going to leave the West for last because there's a certain team with a coach that is riding his last year and ending his career in the tournament. The East. Whew, this was a very tricky one. I think I only have one intriguing matchup, because I'm looking at all these matchups in the first round, and all of them look exactly like anything can happen matchups.
Yeah.
Number 6 versus number 11, Texas. You got Texas at Virginia Tech. Something special about that Virginia Tech team, especially winning their tournament and coming out and having all the motivation. I think it's been, correct me if I'm wrong, Vodtech, it's the last time that they won something this big, and I could be wrong. I apologize if somebody can put it in the chat. It's been a long time. I think 20 plus years since they even won a title. I think it's their first title, if I'm not mistaken. I have them beating Texas. I have them going pretty far. I have them actually going to the Sweet 16. I know. Because here's the thing. Go to the next matchup where you have number 14 Yale and number 3 Purdue. How far can Zach Edey and Jaden Ivey carry this team? How far? We saw
Pretty
it
damn
in
far.
the Big Ten. We
Pretty
saw it
damn
in the
far.
Big Ten. We
Pretty
saw it in the Big
damn
Ten
far.
championship. Come on. We saw it in the Big Ten championship. Ivy is a wizard. And if he left right now and said, you know what, I'm going to the NBA, peace out, great.
No,
Boom,
he is.
he'll be a top 5 pick. He'll
No,
be
he's-
an automatic top 5 pick in the NBA.
Yeah, he's leaving.
No doubt. No,
He's
anybody can argue with me that all day about that. He can roll into the team. He reminds me so much of John Morant when I watch him play. He can be on any team, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I saw them play in the Big Ten tournament and they went against Iowa, I mean, Zach Edey did everything he can under basket, but the secret, like Iowa cracked the secret code and saying, if we double up, because Iowa, if you look at it, Iowa and Purdue is bigger on paper than Iowa. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Zach Edey being 7'4". You look at it on paper and you compare the height, Purdue's bigger. But Iowa found a way to stop the bigs. They found a way to double up on the bigs, pull them over on the right side of the court, away from the basket, and make their shots. And they did that consecutively all throughout the first half. And then it was a back and forth tussle until Iowa, broke free the last 3 minutes of the second half. How far can Purdue go? Yes, they have earned this number 3 ranking. I will not take that away from them. But do not be surprised if Yale gives them a game. Don't be surprised if Yale gives them a game. Don't be surprised if Yale makes it close. I'm serious. I'm saying it right now.
Okay.
I'm saying it right now. Everybody in the chat is like sitting there, thinking I'm out of my mind. Listen, those that follow me know that I take risk on my pool, and I said it on my post that this 68 tournament is wide open. Am I going to say a number 16 seed is going to win this whole entire thing? No, not saying that. But do not be surprised if Purdue struggles against Yale. Yes, they get the win, and then they move on to Virginia Tech, and I think that's where they're going to have problems.
What?
I'm just going to sip my juice.
That would be a good idea, because all the risk bets that you've been saying, risk picks, have all been, you would lose your money every time. Here's my thing. Purdue played a very bad game late second half against Iowa, and now you running away from what they possibly potentially could.
I'm not running away from it. All I'm saying is this, as I said with the Michigan Wolverines, which Purdue team are we going to see? Who is going to be there? Because here's the thing. Ivy can do his thing. Edie can block underneath the basket. I get all that. But then they were exposed in that game where you had a smaller Iowa team double up on the big men of that starting five.
Listen, all I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to end this real quick so we can go on. Yale will need God, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, Mary and Adam themselves.
All the animals on the ark.
To beat Purdue. Book it. Name your price. Name the dinner place. There is no chance in hell and God's green earth that Yale is going to beat Purdue. So I'm going to end that right there. Look, Purdue has NBA talent on this roster.
Exactly.
Of course, it starts with Ivy, who's averaging over 19 points a game, who
yes.
easily can flip the switch and turn it up. Now, they had a bad game. Iowa left a bad taste in their mouths. They lost the Big Ten championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough fire and motivation to go into the first round and beat the shit out of Yale. Sorry, not sorry. So, again, I like Purdue to advance to Sweet 16. I think they have what it takes to get there. But I just don't see Yale getting past a very good Purdue team.
Thank you. Stranger things have happened. I'm just saying.
But here's the thing. Purdue picked the right time to play their worst basketball. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me phrase that. Purdue picked the right time to play their worst basketball of the season. In a game where obviously there's a lot on the line. But, again, that's enough motivation to go into the tournament. Okay, I will let the bad taste in my mouth. No problem. Let's get ready to make this run. And they have what it takes. They have the players. They have the characteristics. They have the coaching to get it done. Now, Virginia Tech, yeah, Duke, you definitely owe me some money because I lost a large amount ACC championship. But I think this Texas team has been really, really shady this season. Of course, going into tough games, tough environments like Texas Tech, of course, where coach to coach at, going on the road against Kansas. The Texas team is like, I'm not sure which girl I'm going to get at the dinner table. Am I going to get the ugly one? Or am I going to get the cute one from around the corner? I don't know. So I think Texas have what it takes to beat this Virginia Tech team. Don't get me wrong. This Virginia Tech team has earned it. It's earned the right to be here. They took care of business, of course, when it mattered most in the championship game against Duke on Saturday.
Correct.
So it's really interesting. I do, in my bracket, I do have Texas getting past Virginia Tech. I think the whole Cinderella ACC championship upset will obviously run its course. Purdue will get past Yale, no chance in hell. G-Man, I talked about them earlier, but I'll go back just for you. I think Murray State has another legitimate shot of getting to the second round as well as possibly getting to Sweet 16. Possibly.
I agree.
Don't run away from me now. And, of course, Kentucky is just my clear-cut favorite. They have the capabilities of getting to the Elite Eight again. But
stay out of foul trouble.
But my biggest concern with Kentucky is consistency.
Correct.
It's had consistency problems all year, of course, with Ty Washington being in and out of lineup, in and out of games. I think Samir Wheeler, the transfer from Georgia, couldn't ask for a better guard play from him. He's only 5'9", and he's going out there going against 6'3" guards, 6'4" guards in the SEC. I think he's playing at a high level. But my thing with Kentucky is, in recent years, we've said these things about Kentucky and them having the capabilities of getting to the Final Four, which some years they have and some years they haven't. Now, this team is young. This team is mixed with some vets. And I think that's the right DNA that you need at this time to make a deep run in the tournament. But, of course, Ty Washington's going to have to play huge. Samir Wills going to have to play huge. Who's going to stop the big fella Oscar, because his motor is always high. Of course, he's playing at a high level, has a high shooting percentage, over 50%. He can score down low. He can grab rebounds. He can run the floor. He can clean up things down low, what you need. And, I just think that the freshman, it starts with the freshmen. Ty Watson's going to have to play huge in his guard play. You have to be smart with the basketball, because if you come in, of course, the St. Peter's team, I'm Jersey. I love Coach Holloway, former Seton Hall assistant. Obviously, had a great career in college as well, the pros. He's going to have his boys ready, but it's Kentucky we're talking about here. I don't see Kentucky having a one-and-done first-round exit at all. And, again, I think they have the capabilities of making a deep run. They just got to be ready to play. So, in my East bracket, of course, Baylor's going to take care of Norfolk State. Carolina will have its trouble against Marquette. This is, again, another Shaka Smart team that he's brought to the tournament.
Yep.
We've seen in years past that his teams are always ready to play.
Shaka Smart is one of those coaches. I believe. Here's the thing, Monty, and I hope you agree with me. Shaka Smart, even starting with the VCU days, he takes those teams and he brilliantly turns them around and turns them into a caliber. I mean, we saw it with VCU. It did, it bloomed from there to the next team that he was on, and then, now on Marquette. So, I mean, the only thing that I can remember with the Texas team, unfortunately, is when, correct me if I'm wrong, first or second round, I believe it was the second round, and they got eliminated off of a heartbreaking 3 with seconds left.
Yeah.
So that right there already busted that game alone busted a lot of brackets with that heartbreaking 3. I don't see it happening with this. I think that they squeak by North Carolina in this round. Nope, I take that back. I'm sorry. I had North Carolina squeaking past Marquette.
Great idea.
With them getting stopped by Baylor.
Looking at all the first round games, that game right there I struggle with that from Jump Street. One of the most important first round games in a tournament. Of course, we know what, Coach Hubert Davis done with Carolina this year in his first year. They've been up and down also. Again, inconsistent guard play with Caleb Love and RJ Davis. And I just think with Armando Bacot carrying his team, leading the country in double-doubles, going out there playing each and every game. Of course, another first-round NBA draft prospect.
Yep.
This Carolina team right now is on the edge. They didn't play that well in the ACC tournament. They didn't end the season well, the regular season. So it starts with those 2 guards. And Caleb Love has shown me that he can do it. Of course, he played big against Syracuse at home before the season ended. And it's all about, again, the confidence. I think Carolina has all the capabilities of beating this Marquette team. This Marquette team hasn't really gave me enough belief that they can get past this first round against North Carolina. They struggled in the Big East play this year. Maybe it's due to, Shaka Smart getting used to how the Big East plays or the tempo of the Big East. But I think there's no other conference but the Big East help you prepare you for these type of games. But I got North Carolina getting past, handling them. Baylor, North Carolina, of course, Baylor, I mean, I can go on about them. They don't even have they're full guys yet, and they're still out there.
They don't. That's what's surprising.
That's what's scary, that they still are missing pieces, and yet they've earned the right to be
still get the wins,
Yeah, so Baylor gets past North Carolina, my Sweet 16. It was really hard for me to pick out of Indiana and UCLA. I just think what Indiana's done this year, and, of course, its first year with a new head coach and a legend of Mike Woodson, an Indiana legend, and Mike Woodson. He took this team to new high levels than what we've seen the last 4 years with his previous coach, because we know who he was. That guy's a loose cannon. Of Sean Miller's brother, by the way. But Indiana, UCLA, I think that second-round game, that's going to be a tough matchup for UCLA. Don't get me wrong. I do agree with them being a 4 seed. They struggled, ending the season, didn't really play as high. They, of course, in the Pac-12 tournament, didn't really give me what I expected to see. But, again, they made a Final Four run last year, and they were 11 seed. So
Right.
I don't want to sleep on this Coach Corn's team.
And a young team. A young team.
He's brought back most of those guys. Of course,
Yes.
Nani Juzang starts with him. And, you know, I just think that the way they play in the Pac-12 tournament, they show me that they can make a run. They're gonna make a run. But I do have them beating a very, very good Indiana team going into Sweet 16 with a date against Baylor. UCLA fans, Fee, I know you're a big UCLA fan. You're a UCLA graduate. Coach Lavin, my mentor, you're a former UCLA head coach. So I know this hurts very, very much. But Baylor's going to beat UCLA and get to the Elite Eight. Sorry, not sorry. And then down there, again, I think Purdue can get to the Sweet 16. I got them with a date with Kentucky. That's another game that can go either way, up and down, east and west, north, south. But my Elite Eights in my East is Baylor and Kentucky. Of course, I do believe the winner of that game, again, has a clear-cut shot to win it all. I do have Kentucky beating Baylor to get into the Final Four, and that takes care of me in the East. Reason why I say that is because Baylor's just won a national championship. Their roster is a little bit changed this last year. Of course, you lost Mitchell, one of the best on-ball defenders last year in college basketball. You lose him to the NBA. Now, with this team, we've seen, obviously, with the injuries, if Kentucky can get on a run and get that momentum that we know that they can with the levels that they can play at, comes down to the guards to tick-tack-tap, but I think Kentucky wins in a close one against Baylor. Baylor's been good all year, but, again, it just comes down to who's going to play the best basketball at the right time when it's needed most. And I think Kentucky has the edge over Baylor. So, and the East, I got Kentucky representing me, representing me in the Final Four. So who you got in the
Kentucky in the Final Four?
If it isn't Kentucky, it'll be Baylor. No doubt. There's just no doubt.
Two words. Mick Cronin.
Yes. Okay.
Mick Cronin is a wizard. This team believed in him last year, and that's how they got as far as they did, beat our guys, got to the Final Four. I think they get back to the Final Four this year.
What?
I think it's going to be a tough – yes, sir.
What?
I think they take care of Baylor. Baylor's going to be one of them early number 1 seeds I have out. Yes, I did say that. Sure did. No shame. Along with Kansas. Kansas and Baylor are going to pack early. With Baylor packing earlier than Kansas. Yes, I said it.
Okay. Like I said, if it's not going to be Kentucky, it's going to be Baylor in the Final Four.
Thank you. Thank you for somebody in the chat that said Kentucky's not going to the Final Four. Thank you.
They have what it takes.
Thank you. School him.
UCLA,
They're not going to no Final Four.
Look, the guy took him to the Final Four as 11th seed, so I'm not sleeping on this guy at all.
Thank you. Also, someone said Purdue's not going to the Sweet 16. Thank you.
Okay. Look,
thank you.
Look.
Thank you.
This is what makes March Madness beautiful. But, hey, man, you say Purdue's not going to get to Sweet 16, then I need to see a bracket. I need to see it like ASAP.
Cut it out.
Need to see a bracket.
Cut it out.
So, again,
UCLA's coming out of the East in my bracket.
So you have UCLA in the Final Four from the East.
Final Four for the East?
Yeah, you have UCLA. Beating Baylor. Okay. So you have who do you have beating Kentucky?
Don't get mad at me. It's UCLA.
Well, okay, so they'll meet in the Elite Eight. Okay, all right, okay. This is
so far I got Zone, I got Auburn, I got UCLA, and then in the West.
Let's dissect the West because this is the most
we're going to dissect the West. We're going to dissect the West for a lot of reasons. Number one being the number 2 seed that's sitting there. It is the final run for one of the legendary coaches, and I'm admitting that as hard as I want to, as a Michigan fan. He's a legend. I mean, let's give the man his flowers. Let's give the man all the proper due of Mike Krzyzewski and everything that he has done for the Duke basketball program. He is done after this year. Sitting at number 2, they play Cal State Fullerton in the first round. I'm looking at this, and yes, somebody mentioned it in the chat, and I'll say it for you with gusto. Michigan State is one and done. They will lose to Davidson. The Stephen Currys, rise up from the ashes.
Oh, boy.
Davidson will upset Michigan State in the first round. Another team that's another upset of mine, and please do not sleep on them, is Vermont. Vermont will take care of Arkansas very close than the experts think. Yes, I have Vermont going to the Sweet 16. Yes, I have Vermont going to the Sweet 16. This one, again, took me a while because here's the thing. The one matchup that's intriguing besides the ones that I mentioned, Connecticut and New Mexico State. Thank you. Somebody said it. Michigan State will lose to Davidson. Thank you, sir, very much. Connecticut and New Mexico State. Danny Hurley has done very well with this team. And they were off to a very hot start in the beginning of the season. And then when it came to their conference play, I'm drawing a blank on a couple of teams that they did struggle with. There was a tournament that they went to. They struggled in that, and then they went into conference play. UConn, I have them going into the next round, beating New Mexico State. But again, it's the consistency for me. Their starting five. I can't think of their point guard at the time. In
RJ Cole.
Thank you. Brilliant player. The problem with UConn is two things: shot selection and fouls. If they can stay out of that, I'll eat my words. I'll set the paper on fire. If UConn can carry on through, again, I pick Vermont. But if they can make a run in the tournament if they are consistent with their shot selection and stay away from the early foul trouble. I know you're laughing at me, G-Man. I know. Monty's laughing at me and looking at me in disgust. This is why we do this. It's March, people. It is. And then you look at Boise State and Memphis. This is the game that I had a hard time choosing. This was one of the last spots I filled in because I believe this is under Penny Hardaway. This is his first time in the tournament?
Yes.
Okay. How much of that is going to motivate his team to capitalize on that against a pretty decent Boise State team? Boise State is not just a football school with the crazy blue field and everything else. They got a pretty good basketball squad. I got Memphis beating them in a close one, and then Gonzaga. They'll meet Gonzaga, and then Gonzaga will do what Gonzaga does. But again, along the way, I don't have Duke going very far. I have Davidson actually beating Duke. Everybody can cue all the laughters in there if they want to. I had Davidson meeting Texas Tech. Texas Tech meeting the Zags in the Elite Eight, and the Zags going to the Final Four.
Okay. Let me will you back in. Come on. Get over here. I'm not done yet. The West by far was the hardest selection I had to make as far as breaking down the brackets, doing my homework on these teams because of the amount of teams that are capable to get to.
G-Man, you're hilarious.
But you have a lot of confidence, but sometimes your confidence can mix with reality, and that doesn't mix sometimes.
Listen, that's why we have a backup bracket.
First off, I think Michigan State is going to beat Davidson.
Oh my God!
As much as I hate Michigan State,
oh my Lord!
I look. Experience wins games. Yes, Michigan State has experience. They have the talent. Of course, the last time Tom Izzo went home in the first round was like a few years ago. He ain't trying to make that happen again this year.
He was in the first four last year. Let's remember that he was in the first four last year, and they got exited early.
Izzo is hungry. Okay, you see the look in his eyes. He fired up. Michigan State can handle business. That's one. Two. Of course, we know the significance of Duke. This being Coach K's last run. He already lost the last game of his career at home against Marquette. He's already lost the ACC championship, his last game, championship game, conference championship game. Lost that. Now this is your final shot at getting to the big dance. Does Duke have what it takes to get to Elite Eight? Absolutely. Which Duke team will show up? I don't know.
Exactly.
I do think with Pablo Banchero, of course, a lottery pick. Wendell Moore, who's been the senior captain, who's played phenomenal all year.
Mm-hmm.
The guard play from Jeremy Roach, not to mention his struggles throughout the year. But Duke has what it takes to get to the Elite Eight. Let's cut straight to the chase. They have what it takes to get to the Elite Eight. I do have them beat Michigan State in the second round, and then when they meet Texas Tech in the Sweet 16, they'll beat them also. Memphis has been very iffy. But I want to give Coach Hardaway his flowers. Now, back in January, Memphis was receiving a lot of heat. No Monty Bates. They were going on a losing streak. I think at one point they went on a stretch where they were 4-8. And then they blocked out the noise. They didn't let one player dictate.
It went on an incredible run. Yeah.
They didn't let one player dictate the season. And they've won their last 16 games by playing Memphis basketball, by buying into what Penny Hardaway, which I think has one of the most underrated staffs in the country.
I agree.
Penny Hardaway, obviously Rasheed Wallace, having what's the guy's name that coached at Detroit and beat us? The legend Larry Brown.
Larry Brown, yeah, he's on the staff.
Underrated staff.
A
lot of experience, a lot of NBA experience, a lot of talent. Of course, with Noah Monty Bates, who was projected to be a lottery pick. I don't know if that still stands with him, leading the team for whatever reasons. I'm not even sure if he's going to play this tournament or show up. But if he does, that'll boost Memphis. But he hasn't played in so many games. I think they should just keep rolling without him. So Memphis will definitely beat Boise State, in my opinion. I just think with Memphis' capability, their guard play, as well as their bigs, they can get it done. I just don't see Boise State having that extra second gear to get to, which we've seen Memphis take it to that gear. And the winning streak that Penny Hardaway's been on, that's going to be important for Memphis. But, of course, they'll have a date with Gonzaga in the second round. And, of course, we know this Gonzaga team with Timmy and those guys, they're just going to float right on through to the Elite Eight, right on through the Final Four, arguably. But where it gets tricky for me is, obviously, I'll have UConn beating Gonzaga in the Sweet 16. UConn, thank you for showing up. You've been great all year. Pack your bags and go back home. Gonzaga beat them. Texas Tech and Duke. I do have Texas Tech beating Alabama. Alabama's had a great year with Coach Nate Oates. Juwan Quinlan, who I gave my flowers to on your pod last year. He's been playing phenomenal.
This is a different Alabama team. That's why I don't have them going far.
It's really tough. But, again, I just think with the way of this Duke locker room and them knowing that this right now, March will be Coach K's last month coaching, you have to go out there and you have to give him a last ride that's going to be unbelievable, that will go down in the history books.
Right.
They'll meet Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. Guarantee. Book it. They'll meet Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. I'm saying Duke will meet Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. From there, it can go either way. Because, again, I don't see Duke losing to Michigan State. I don't see
Duke is going to beat Gonzaga?
No, I'm not saying that. I said they'll meet in the Elite Eight.
Oh.
So, from there, I have Gonzaga to beat Duke. But it could be Duke beating Gonzaga. I mean, because out of this West bracket, and let's be realistic, how many teams can actually compete? When I say compete, I mean from start to finish in this bracket on the West side. Who can compete with Gonzaga all game? It's not UConn.
No.
Not Memphis.
No.
It's not Alabama. It's not Texas Tech. It's not Michigan State. It's Duke that can compete with them. They can match up with Gonzaga guards. Timmy's going to have trouble guarding Pablo Banchero all game. I just think that Gonzaga just has a slight better bench than Duke, which it showed.
You've been conned by UConn. Your boy's funny.
Duke bench has been inconsistent this year. There's been times where Duke's gone 7 deep, and there's been times Duke's been going 8 deep. Now, obviously, as we enter the tournament,
Thank you, G-Man. I said exactly the same thing. Thank you.
Name your price, G-Man.
Thank you, G-Man. G-Man.
My Cash App, my
Hold
PayPal.
on.
Duke is getting to the Sweet 16, guarantee, because who beating them? I don't know. It ain't going to be Michigan State. It ain't going to be Alabama or Texas Tech. That's for sure. But in all reality, with this Duke team, they have, I think these players, they owe it to Coach K to get. Yeah, UConn can match up with Gonzaga, but if Sanogo is healthy and can play, because mind you, you can make the argument that if Sanogo didn't get hurt in the Big East tournament against Providence, UConn might have beaten Providence that night. So that's just my opinion. But there's no other team, I think, in this West bracket that can give Gonzaga problems. If it isn't UConn, it's Duke.
Tuggle, no, they're not going to the Sweet 16.
D-Tug, you know,
Tuggle, no.
You know.
Cut that
out. Birthday, dog.
Cut that out. Cut that out.
I mean, let's be realistic here. This is Mike Krzyzewski's last final March Madness run. You think them players in that locker room are gonna have this guy go out first round, second round? You ought to be ashamed of yourself if you even think that. Like, seriously. I just think it's the perfect script, man.
Oh my gosh.
I could have went on a rant and said he'll win it all and then arrive to the sunset.
Right.
But this is March Madness where you have to bring your A game. You have to have your A game every night. As you go on private events, you better have your A game. Because we've seen in years past, if you don't bring your A game that game, you packing your bags to go home. I don't care. First seed, third seed, 15th seed, it don't matter. If you don't bring your best each game, you go home.
Yeah.
So I think Duke has a shot, legitimately has a shot to get to the Sweet 16. They will make the Sweet 16. And then the Elite Eight, if they can get there and beat Gonzaga, in my opinion, that's anybody's game. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those guys that's going to be like, oh, Gonzaga just has a clear-cut favorite right to the Final Four. Just shoot on by. Hell no. They have what it takes. They'll probably get there in reality. But I think if Duke and them do meet, Duke will give them run for their money, and that'll be a close game also.
Okay, so you have who coming out of the West?
Look, listen. Gonzaga will come out of the West, in my opinion. It can be Duke also.
Oh my God.
It can be. I'm just. You just gotta believe. You just gotta believe the vision. I'm trying to get you to see my vision.
Monty Moss.
It can.
No, sir.
So if it isn't Duke facing Gonzaga in Elite Eight, who the hell do you have facing Gonzaga in Elite Eight? Who do you have in your bracket facing Gonzaga in Elite Eight? Don't say Texas Tech. I'm just saying. You better not have Texas Tech on that paper to the Elite Eight because we got some problems. Seriously.
Listen.
Seriously. No, don't. Stop. Just stop. Stop.
My Final Four.
Take your bracket and rip it up.
UCLA, Zags. Gonzaga, Arizona. Arizona cuts down the nets April 4th.
I'm not
Gonzaga would destroy. Gonzaga, thank you. How far? Okay. But as he said in the chat, Gonzaga would destroy Texas Tech. Agreed. Hi, Gina. Agreed. I have them. I have them in the Elite Eight. Sorry. I have in the Elite Eight. I have this Gonzaga meeting UCLA and barely beating them, and they are going into the Final Four and they're going to a championship game. Don't make that look at me. Don't.
Marissa.
Thank you for all the new followers. Trust me, I'm a good time. I'm a good time.
It's always. Look, I'll say this. It's always a blessing to come on your platform. It's always a blessing for you to invite me to share my knowledge of the game. But tonight may have been one of the biggest mistakes of your life by having Texas Tech in the Elite Eight against Gonzaga. Have you lost your mind?
Listen.
What are you thinking? How does that happen? That won't happen.
Sir, you got Duke going as far as they are. Cut it out.
That's realistically a good pick, a solid pick. You mean to tell me that Duke don't have a legitimate shot to get to Elite Eight? Like literally, like also, like seriously, Duke don't have a shot.
They do have a legitimate shot, yes.
That's
they do
all
have
I
a
need to hear.
legitimate shot,
That's
yes.
all I need to hear. So, again,
she's lost it, Monty. With all due respect.
I don't know what's in that cup, but I'm gonna wear her. Let me. Come on. So let's get to the big dance. Let's get to the big dance. So your Final Four, you have who? Gonzaga, UCLA, who?
Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona, and Auburn.
The moment you said UCLA, I knew your bracket is done.
Cut that out. It's
My
March,
bracket.
baby.
I
Yours
have
is who?
Gonzaga,
What you got?
Gonzaga, Arizona,
Okay.
Kentucky, and Kansas. Now, again, it could be flip-flop because if Baylor can handle business, it'll be Baylor. If Duke can handle business, it can be Duke. I'm just saying. This tournament is wide open. We said that at the beginning of this on this show that this is an open tournament. There's no clear-cut favorites. There's no straight ticket to the big dance. Texas Tech, hell no. But, again, Gonzaga, Arizona, Kentucky, and Kansas.
Whew. And who is your national championship game, sir?
I have Arizona and Gonzaga.
And who's winning?
I have Arizona cutting the nets down.
All of that for us to come back and meet in the middle. All of that for us to come back and meet in the middle. You did all of that dramedy for us to come back and meet in the middle.
I mean, look, I think we did this last year with the tournament.
Yes.
We were kind of like mixed emotion with a lot of teams, especially the way the tournament turned out. I mean, of course, both our brackets last year, we had UCLA going home a long time ago. But they made a Final Four run and shocked the world.
Yep.
I know there's going to be a shock the world team. I just can't figure out who.
There's going to be several shock the world teams. And let me ask you this, and then we're going to wrap up because I want people to follow you, and I want people that are on your Facebook page, because you're also doing a bracket pool this year that people are serious about it, that they want to get in. They want to make sure they follow you, because I got to fill that out for your pool.
Thank you.
Very much so. So who are when you look at your bracket, who are the three teams that you have, and I'll share the three that I have, and we'll wrap this up, that you think is going to make some disruptive noise in this tournament starting Thursday?
Throw me on a hot
Begin in the 80s, don't hate. Yes, we picked Arizona, don't hate.
That will mess up brackets. UCLA for sure. Does it matter as far as the seeding or just
doesn't matter?
Okay, so I'm gonna go with UCLA. I'm gonna pick Illinois, and I would say Villanova, but they're 2 seed, so I'm gonna leave them out. I'm gonna try to make it a little interesting as far as low seed. I'm gonna go with my third one. Man, I'm gonna go with Richmond. Again, there's a lot of teams spread it out as far as possible underdog / upset alert. But just looking from the West and the East and then South to Midwest,
right?
It's just tough. I mean, I would have said Villanova as my third one, but there's 2 seed. But I just think out of all the complete teams that we have in the tournament, with Kansas being a complete team, Villanova's being a complete team, Arizona's being a complete team,
Mm-hmm.
Auburn being a complete team. I mean, I can go on. I just wanted to make it interesting as far as 3 picks. Now, all 3 of these teams I can be wrong, which 40% I'll probably be wrong. But I just think those 3 teams legitimately have a shot at busting brackets, possibly going on a Cinderella run, and making some noise in the process. So those are my 3.
Okay. All right. 3 Cinderella teams I think they can make some noise. Seton Hall, Loyola Chicago.
Okay.
They can make some noise.
Well,
how much noise they can make, we'll see.
Wait. When you say noise, you mean Seton Hall beating Arizona in the second round? Or do you mean Seton Hall just getting out of the first round and get TCU? Because you forget they will have to meet Arizona in the second round.
Correct.
So
that would be an epic colossal of epic proportions failed if that ever happened. But
if all hell break loose, Seton Hall will be that.
Yes. That is my all hell break loose if Seton Hall happens to find the secret sauce and destroy both you and I's bracket early, which I hope not. No. That's why I have them with like 3 asterisks right beside it in case it is. Yeah. I don't know what kind of prayers that 104-year-old Sister Jean prays for Loyola Chicago, but whatever she prays, it continues to work because Loyola Chicago made a little mini run last year. I think they make a mini run this year. I think they give, again, I know you're laughed at me. I think they give Villanova problems. And do not be surprised if you see Loyola Chicago in the Sweet 16. Yes, I said it.
The only thing Sister Jean need to pray about is getting out the first round. That's first. I mean, I'm just saying. You got to get out the first round or you get Sweet 16.
And again, Davidson.
That's not bad, though. That's not bad.
And again, Davidson. Runner-up, Vermont.
So you have Seton Hall, Loyola Chicago, and Vermont?
Davidson.
Okay,
Davidson.
So you have Davidson as your 3rd pick.
Mm-hmm.
You really, you must really,
I'm going out there.
I'm going out there. You dislike Michigan State that much? I hate them. But
it's not disliking Michigan State. It's the capabilities I've seen this Davidson team do that they could be a disruptor in this tournament. I am not taking anything away from Michigan State. I'm not. Because Sparty fans love to say January, February, Izzo, April, whatever that they like to say, whatever the case is. I'm not taking anything away from Davidson or taking away anything from Michigan State. But this Davidson team, I think some people are sleeping on. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
That you bought so.
But if I'm right, y'all gonna hear from me.
So
that's it.
They won't because I'm gonna be on you like hot cooked food. So.
The Seton Satin Dolls. Gee, man.
Seton Hall. John, I love you. I know you'll be watching or you'll listen to this, and I know your nephew plays for them. He's had a hell of a 4-year career. He's earned the right to be here again. He should have won Big East Defensive Player of the Year. That's my opinion. He's one of the best on-ball defenders, guards in the country. He can score at will. He can shoot the rock. He can dish. He can run the floor. His ball handling is pretty good. But when you just sit here and say Seton Hall to be a sleeper, they can't sleep on TCU. That's first. And then on top of that, realistically, let's be real here. They'll meet a dangerous Arizona team.
Correct.
Second.
Correct. That's why I have 6 asterisks by it. Please do not upset and break my bracket.
So I'm gonna give you a chance to redeem yourself because this is what family does.
All right, Sister Jeans. Sister Jeans, Davidson, and Vermont would be my top 3.
So who are you replacing Seton Hall with out of the whole bracket?
Oh, Vermont. It would be Vermont. So I would have Vermont, Davidson, and Loyola Chicago.
Again, realistically, let's be real here. I know we're on national airwaves. I know we got certain guidelines we got to follow, but they'll need a prayer to get past Arkansas out of the first round. So, but again, It's your 3. I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. Look, I love you. I love you dearly. It's always fun coming on here. I mean,
thank you.
When you call, I'll
what?
answer every time. So
risk sometimes pays off, and it would be the reward. So,
so my last question to you: if it's not Arizona, if you had to, let's say you had to redo the Final Four again, with your picks, just hypothetically, let's throw it out there. Who would be your random 4 with aside of the
if it's not Zona, if it's not Arizona, I would replace them.
If it's not,
do my Final Four over again?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
My sister said I'm willing to risk it all. Thank you. I am. I'm willing to risk it all. If I'm able to do my Final Four over again,
yes.
Which I believe in one bracket I did have one because I'm invited in 10 pools this year. Tennessee, Kansas. I have Tennessee coming from the South, Kansas coming from the Midwest.
That's solid.
I have Baylor. I'm sorry.
That's solid. I'm with you so far.
I had Baylor coming from the East, and then I had Duke coming from the West. Oh God!
I had to get it out of her. Finally, it took me some time, but I had to beat it out of her. Sometimes you just gotta drill that. That when you got your drill and you put that damn screw won't screw on, you gotta put a little pressure on that nail to get that shit to go on the wall.
I think. Thank you, audience, for believing in me. Clayton, I see you in here. Clayton Harper has been a friend of mine for years. I see it.
I just had to get it out of you. You were like anti-Duke, like ain't happening. So, all right. So realistically, you have Duke, Tennessee, Kansas, and Baylor. Who meets the Final Four and who goes down the next?
Okay. Well, if it came down to it, Jesus, why?
Come on now, stay with me. Hang in there.
Okay, so if it came down to it, I had Kansas in the championship game. No, I did not have Duke in it. Sorry to let you down. I had Baylor. I had Baylor going into the championship game, with Baylor repeating as national champions. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is not Duke. No, there's no.
Look, I respect your
Duke.
fantasy Final Four. I mean,
that's actually one of the it's one of the Final Fours I do have. It's one of the Final Fours I do have on one of the pools that I'm in. Mind you, I'm in 10. I'm in 10 pools this year.
You can't have all 10 the same. It doesn't work that way.
No, they're not the same. That was one of them.
Okay, so
I haven't filled out the other ones yet.
Are you ready?
That's
for mine?
The one that I filled out, and this one for the show.
Are you ready for mine?
Yes.
If I had to redo the Final Four, America, redo. So come into the vault because I'm about to.
Baylor beat Gonzaga last year and won the title.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, I picked Gonzaga to win the whole thing, and they let me down.
Yeah, they're gonna do the same thing this year. No worries. Hang in there. Stay with
Don't laugh at me, Tuggle.
Just hang in there. So, if I had to redo my Final Four, not realistically, fantasy for fun, blah blah. I have. How can I not have?
Don't do it. Don't you do it.
How could I not have Duke in there, right?
I'm done.
So Duke.
G-Man, come get your boy.
Duke. Gina. Duke. I have Arizona back. You know what? I'm gonna throw Arizona as if they lose like to Seton Hall, right? Seton Hall, right? That's your pick, right?
Oh my gosh.
So Duke.
Stop.
Tennessee.
Say it with your chest.
Tennessee.
Okay.
Final Four.
All right.
Kentucky.
I'm done.
Kentucky.
Look, I'm done.
Hang in there. Kentucky. Kansas, right? So that's my 4. I have Kansas.
I cannot.
And Duke.
You asked me what I'm drinking. This is just ocean spray up in here.
And it's going to be a Cinderella miracle because Coach K cutting down the Nets, baby, in New Orleans. There it is. Look, Duke or Kansas. That's my fantasy win. Whatever two win. I want to see Bill Self win another natty. But it's just hard to, like, not have the GOAT go out cutting down the Nets.
Clayton, don't do that. Clayton, don't do that. Don't agree with him. Don't do that. Don't do that, Clayton. Don't do that.
I'm just saying. So
don't do that.
I know we got to wrap up. I know, we're on a time limit because we can talk.
Yes, we have to wrap up. So how can people follow you on your pool? Because you're hosting a bracket pool.
Yeah.
So how can people join? Give them the deets.
All right. So for everybody out there that don't know, I have a Facebook group, sports group, called Global Sports Entertainment. Marissa is one of the members. And me and my other moderators, so myself, John Copeland, Brian Garvin, Bernard Rock Johnson, Mark Welsh, John Boucher. We have Tiffany, which we're thinking about adding another female moderator, so we may get you. I'm just throwing a sleeper. But anyway, I had this conversation with my group, and I decided that we should have a little fun. We did do a bracket challenge last year, but of course, with everything that was going on, didn't really fall through. So we kind of went into this different game plan that we're going to have. So, again, this will be the second year that my group, my Facebook sports group, Global Sports Entertainment, we're hosting our second annual bracket challenge. The winner of the bracket challenge, it's free to enter. If you need the link, I can send it to you. We have our own ESPN bracket challenge group. Winner will get a $100 gift card to whatever he or she may want it to be. Nike, Amazon, Applebee's, Fridays, whatever $100 voucher you want, or if you just want the gift card with cash on it, no problem. But it'll be our second annual bracket challenge. The winner will go with a $100 gift card, and it's going to be exciting. I'm not sure. I think we have over 30-something people already. Of course, it fills up to, I think, 72.
Can I throw in some prizes?
Go for it.
Thank you. I'm gonna throw in some swag. I'm gonna throw in some merch from the podcast store. So I'll throw in some merch. Anything that they want to pick out, whoever wins the whole entire thing. If I happen to win it, I'm gonna give away.
If I win, I'm gonna give it away also. But again, for everybody on Facebook, if you search, either you can ask me for an invitation. I can see the link to join the group, as well as send you a link to the bracket challenge that I have on ESPN. But it's open to all. May the best person win, because again, maybe me and Marissa brackets be busted, but you can find us there.
But there's no me. My bracket's gonna win.
Not with.
Don't you?
Never mind.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We will have this video up on my platform. If you're following me on Instagram, it's Marissa Tigney Podcast. I have a podcast show. It's called Heard That with Marissa Tigney. Check me out on heardthatwithmarissa.com. I have all kinds of guests on there. It's a sports, entertainment, music, all different kinds we talk about. We talk about the hardcore things that matter too, as well as mental health and wellness. And we got to make sure that we check on each other, because we all we got. So very important that I continue to talk about this and talk about it on this platform. Monty, you're a blast. You're always an amazing person to do this with. This is our second year doing this. We're going to continue to do this as well. Maybe turn it to a charitable event. Do something where we're able to give back to a nonprofit for people that enter in. So he'll drop the details in the chat if you want to sign up. It's going to be a lot of fun. For those that were asking in the chat, the 64 tournament starts Thursday, 12:20 Eastern Standard Time, I believe. 12 Eastern Standard Time. 11 o'clock. So you need to make sure you get your brackets filled out before then, because once it starts. You cannot go back and redo your bracket. Yeah. So
this was fun.
Thanks, everybody.
When can I come back? It's fun.
Well, you can come back anytime. I need to have you back on so we can talk about some things coming up. But this is our brackets, y'all. So yeah, so we probably will do it. There's ideas in the chat next year. We'll do this for charity for sure and make that happen. I'll probably have you come back on when it gets closer to draft for sure. NBA draft.
No problem. Like I said, anytime, any place, doesn't matter. You make the call, I'm going to answer. It's always fun coming on here to give a different taste of sports, what we love. But, you know, we had conversations about other things in the past privately, as well as on your platform with mental health issues. So anytime we have a woman in sports like yourself, Black woman figure that knows her stuff and that has an audience behind her, it'll be wrong for me not to come on and show some love and give your flowers, because I think what you've done with this podcast and where it's going with the guests you had from before, I think it's going in the right direction. And anytime I can come on and show some love as well as give a helping hand, I'm gonna do it every time. So it's an honor. Again, it's a privilege. Can't wait to come back. We can do this for another 3 hours. Maybe we should have like a live bracket watch. I don't know. So I can
That'd be so great. Yes.
Die. So I can see your bracket die. That'll be great. So again, Marissa, I love you. I appreciate you. And again, Gina, Fee, Tuggle, Calc, my dog, Nice Girl. She's a Memphis fan. G-Man, Burn to Hell.
Yes, G-Man. I was on another platform and we did do the women's bracket. So I did not do it on here. I will think about doing that next year. I was on another platform and we talked about the women's tournament as well, because I give both of them the same equal platform. So yes, thank you for asking that question.
That's right. That's it. Love it. Marissa.
All right, y'all. Be good to one another.
Look,
take care.
America, I better see all of you tomorrow night, 9 p.m.
Yes.
Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Gentleman's Corner Live. Don't make me come
on the hottest show on IG.
Don't make me come looking for you. I better see everybody there tomorrow, because I may not show up.
Real conversations.
Real man, real conversation. I may not show up tomorrow. I may put in an option day. I may take a personal day. I'm going through a lot of mental health issues. My brain, my bracket. It's too much right now. I just need a break.
America.
Love you, America. Bracket Challenge 2022. Brackets will be busted this year. Guaranteed. Love you.
Video up on my page. Chat in the comments, y'all. We'll take care.
Love you.
We out. Bye.